win! Let's go! 5-2 against the Ottawa Senators in Ottawa. Although it didn't feel like Ottawa for the Habs, I'm pretty sure, because the crowd was a lot of Habs fan, and it's really good to see. Ooh, what a game! What a game to watch! There was a lot of rust, and I think that's actually going to be the title of this video, because everyone was rusty. And I'll start with me. I was rusty. As a viewer, I was rusty. I watched the Four Nations religiously and everything, and I really enjoyed it. But then I was like, okay, the Habs. And then it took me a second to be like, okay, right, Newhook with that, with everyone. And the defensive pairings, it took me a second. And of course, the players that didn't go to the Four Nations, they were also fairly rusty. Most of all, honestly, Batherson from the Senators, oof. I don't know. Apparently, he's a pretty good player, but yesterday that was rough to watch from him. He kept falling, tossing the puck. Not good. Not what you want to see. I'm sure it's just rust, I like Matheson. Matheson was on the same boat. He also gave up a goal pretty much just by giving Stützle the puck, and then he also had a fall. He also couldn't receive passes. He was not great. A lot of our players shook their rust pretty fast. Gallagher gets the giveaway and buries it. Allmark was rusty too. He gets pulled after the 5th goal by Slafkovsky. And Slafkovsky, man, I don't think he had rust, or if he had very little, or shook it very fast. Because what a game by the guy! What a game! A lot of people are saying it's maybe one of his best games in the season, maybe ever, even if better than the one with his hat trick. Yeah, I mean he was playing like a dog out there. He was throwing forechecks, really aggressive on the forecheck, throwing hits, had a fight, had a goal. He was just missing the assist for the Gordie Howe hat trick, right? And even though in the Caulfield goal, it kind of bounces not from his skate, because that's why he doesn't get the assist, but it bounces off someone else's skate, right in front of him. So he was right there, and obviously he contributed to that play, but doesn't get credited with the assist. So, anyways, really good game by Slav. I like what I saw from Monty. I was wondering if for Monty he didn't play during the Four Nations, right? But he was there. He practiced with everyone. So I wonder, how much of the energy does he bring to Montreal? How much does he absorb of the things he learned from the other players? The commentators mentioned, he was probably practicing or saving shots in practices against the best in the world, right? So, yeah, he brings, he comes and he makes some really good saves. Sure, he lets in 2 pretty fast, but not a lot he could have done there. On the Stützle one, not a lot on the Sanderson one. It was just bar in on a power play. Sure, he could have saved those, but yeah, not ones you expect. And he did save everything else after that. He saved a lot more. A lot of the shots that we didn't expect him to save, he had pretty good saves, honestly. So good for Monty. Hopefully he keeps up that confidence, and hopefully we all keep the confidence from this game, all the players do and all the fan base too. Because if we want to get to the playoffs, we need to go on a run. And even if the objective is not the playoffs, it would still be great that we can go on a run. Just to get the players more experience. We're still very young, right? So any meaningful games is going to be amazing for all the players. Who else? Caulfield, amazing goal. Honestly, other than the goal and a couple plays here and there, a couple shots, he didn't appear too much. So I think he still does have a little bit of rust. Same with Suzuki. Obviously, he gets 2 assists on the line goal, and I think it was on the... What other goal did he assist? The Slafkovsky's. So he played well, but I don't know, on that line, just Slafkovsky either overshone them, or they were a little more quiet than you would want them to be. Obviously, still a good game from them. Line back on the second line with Dak and Newhook. I like what I saw from Line on the Four Nations. I do watch the Finland games too, and like they trust him a lot, but he's still not good defensively. He still wasn't good defensively for Finland. Like on that Finland-Canada game, Line was out there for like 6 minutes at the end, like straight or something like that. It was like 5:45, I forget, but a lot of time out there because they trust him and like they put him out there for his shot and whatnot. I do wonder if like Kucherov on Tampa, where he is out there for both power play units, if you would just leave Line out there for the full 2 minutes. You know, like you don't need to have him retrieve all the pucks or everything. You just like sit him there as a threat. In the second power play unit, you could have Line on one side, Heineman on the other. That's two shooting threads. I don't know. I know Dak takes that spot, so we would have to do some readjusting because Dak is like the brain in the second power play unit. But I do think it might be something worth to try. Anyways, I'm going on a branch here. Yeah, the second line, they didn't have a good game overall, I don't think. They were a little rusty. Dak more than anyone else, I think. He played okay. He was throwing the body. You know, like they had their chances here and there, but not what you want to see from your second line. You want to see more, especially when the team is feeling it. Like, who scored? It was Galley, then Caulfield, then Line on the power play. So it doesn't count for the second line. Then it was Anderson and Slavkovsky. So pretty much all three top lines produced, but it was just the first and the third more than anything else. The fourth line, though, back with Heineman. Let's go. We like some Heineman. And he brings so much stability to that fourth line, which makes me feel two ways. One way, it's like, great. He is exactly the piece we need for that fourth line to roll all the lines and have four threatening and responsible lines, right? On the other hand, I'm like, without him, our fourth line kind of sucked. And that shows a lot of lack of depth. Like, if your fourth line player goes out and you can replace him, you can replace a guy in the fourth line, and that impacts the whole team. Depth, right? But we are a young team, so that's somewhat to be expected. And the other thing that I'm like, is that without Heineman, like they moved Line back there and he couldn't replace him well, or I don't know, just like things didn't seem to click for that fourth line. And I might be imagining all this, but when you play sports and there's small mistakes here and there, and like someone makes a mistake, so someone else has to cover for that, and then someone else has to cover for the guy that was covering. Like it's like an avalanche where slowly it starts building. Little mistakes start building into bigger and bigger stuff. Like space begins to be created. So even if your fourth line makes a mistake, like say we have Peseta out there, and Peseta goes for a hit but leaves a guy open, right, because he went for the hit. Someone else has to cover for him, so someone else covers for Peseta, and then someone else has to cover for the guy who covered for Peseta, right? So like it all evolves. A small mistake can be punished because in the NHL they're that good. They notice those mistakes and they capitalize on them. So having Heineman out there being a responsible guy, yeah, that just creates that much more stability for all our lines and our defensemen. Ottawa was missing a lot of their key players. I think they didn't have Pinto, Chuck, and a few others. I forget what their names. So they didn't have a full roster. We were just missing goalie, I think, for a full healthy roster. So they were we had the upper hand going in, I think. And after the 2-goal lead that we got, and they erased that 2-goal lead, I thought we were gonna crumble. I thought it was gonna be like the Leafs a month ago, where we were up 3-0, and then it was 7-3. So when we were tied at 2, I was like, oh no, here we go again. But yeah, power play, and it took 15 seconds on the power play or something like that, less than that. Just Hudson, amazing play, fake shot, goes past, lineup buries it. Love what you see there, and that brings the Habs back into the game. Honestly, like I think that power play was crucial. If we don't score in that power play, the game could have gone completely the other way. So good to see Hudson shaking off the rust too. He was a little rusty to begin with. You saw him coughing a few pucks here and there, and making a few decisions that he doesn't usually wrong decisions that he doesn't usually make. But I think he overall had a good game. So anyways, the power play was really important. We go up the first period. We go into the tunnel on the first period, up by 1. There you go. And I think always important to have a good intermission. You know, like an intermission where you're feeling it. Sorry, I can't wait to talk about this. I'll just mention it now. That's talking about the vibes and feeling it. The Slavkovsky fight, he gets hit really hard, and I'm really glad that he stands up for himself, and fights the other guy. Hudson in the, just being like, maybe I need to fight him. Maybe Slav is down, and I need to fight this guy. And he's like, oh no, Slav is fighting him. Okay, I'll leave. Good to see, first of all. Then Slav, okay fight. He's not a fighter, you can see, like he was throwing punches into the visor, and then his hand was a little fucked up. I hope everything's okay there. But the thing I wanted to highlight is Jagai over the boards with his stick, just like banging his stick on the ice over the boards. He couldn't have been more excited, and that's what you love to see from a team, guys. They're stuck with each other for a long while. If they don't get along, you can have a situation like Vancouver or whatever, which is constant drama. Miller's out, so now probably should be a bit better, but still, you don't want to have that, especially when you're rebuilding, right? So seeing the power of friendship out there, and like how much they all respect each other and how much fun they have, it's amazing to see. Yeah, so Jack, I'm very proud of his big boy Slavkovsky, and I think all of us Habs fans were proud of Slavkovsky for just standing up for himself after taking a hit like that from a weird angle. Yeah, I didn't like the hit too much. Another thing that they didn't like, and it's probably just due to rust too, the refs were making some calls early in the first and early in the second too, that I didn't fully like. Yeah, apparently the Senators are one of the teams that get the most calls in the NHL, so they have like the most penalties, against, in favor. Okay, whatever, you know what I mean. They kind of dive. They kind of go down easily when there's a stick anywhere. And yeah, the first Senators goal was Anderson, I think, got a stick, and they just like fell. Zero resistance, just on the ice. I know skaters are very, like balanced, and anything can throw them out of balance, and they will fall, right? A little too easy. Just my 2 cents. A little too easy. He went down, and they get the call. Anyways, that, a few non-calls, but also a few non-calls in favor of the Habs. Like the Ottawa Senators coach was vivid at the end of the second, because, let's be honest, the refs missed 2 high sticks on Senators by the Habs. One was Matheson, the one for like a cross check, and then the stick when he was coming down hits the guy on the face. Sure, the refs didn't see it. It's still a penalty that they didn't, or we didn't get, right? So both ways. I think it went both ways, but yeah, the refs also need to shake off the rust. Because, the third was a little better. I think the third for the refs was fairly, or they didn't call anything. I don't know, one of the two. Yeah, very very exciting game. I had a lot of fun watching it. I'm a little rusty too, just from the videos. Struble. Before I go into closing up the video, Struble. I like what I saw. I like the Struble Hudson pairing. They're both some. I mean, Hudson's a rookie. I think Struble, he's not a rookie, but like he doesn't have 100 games on his belt or anything like that. I don't think so. Anyways, so very inexperienced duo, but honestly, they play fairly well. I do think that if you play that duo for too long, the other teams are going to adapt and they're going to try to exploit the inexperience of the two. So I don't think you can get away with it for too long. But thus far, I did like what we saw from there. Yeah, then you leave Matheson with Carrier, like a good skating, good duo defensively, supposedly. You know, Matheson, like I said, not a great game. And then you have Jacka with Savard, which they're very responsible and they play well. You know, they both get an assist. So yeah, my only concern with them is that you have two slow guys in that third pairing. Jacka is not super slow, but he's not the fastest. Like if someone gets a step on him, he's probably not gonna be catching up. So that's the only concern that I have with that duo. But I think Martin plays them smartly, and they play smart too. They know they're not the fastest, so whenever they can see the puck is going back on their zone, they anticipate the play, right? Oh, speaking of Jackai, there was this news by or quote by him apparently before the game that he said he wanted to beat the crap out of Chuck and whatnot. Like it was all a mistranslation from a Sens reporter. Come on. Like, yeah, I'm gonna call you out. What the fuck is that? Like, yeah, generate clicks and whatnot, whatever you want, but like, don't put words in someone else's that they didn't say at all. Like, Jacques doesn't speak French. He said all that in English, so it's translated to French. The original article. And like even the original the French says like they butt heads and they get it into each other's game or whatever. That was it. It was like very mild, you know, just explaining that they're both physical players and that's it. Like that was pretty much all the quote. And then the senator reporter is just like, oh, they want to beat the shit out of Chuck or whatever. Let's not go there. Like the media is already horrible enough in some ways. Just like the line thing that he said before the Four Nations started, where he said he was not getting enough ice time. All the headlines were Line complaining about his ice time in Montreal. Like the full quote, the full line by Line was, "I'm not getting enough ice time, and deservedly so. I've been playing like ass or something like that. I need to play better, so now maybe I can get more ice time." Like that was the whole thing he said, or something along those lines. Obviously not with those exact words, but the headlines were like, "Line complaining about ice time. He says blah blah blah," and like they quote just the part where he's saying like he's not getting enough ice time. Same thing here. Like, I mean, not same thing, even worse, a lot worse, because like you're saying things that he didn't say. Like creating animosity between the two teams for no reason. There's enough animosity as it is, but it's a good animosity, as in we're rivals. We play each other hard. Yeah, right. They're two cities that are very close together. The Habs went back on a bus to go to Montreal or something like that. Like, there's no need to generate that kind of crap. Especially like the Senators already hate Jackai, and like the Senator fans. They hate Jackai and like everything he does, right? So you don't need to do that. Yes, you're gonna generate clicks, but like, come on. Anyways, I've been talking way too long about that. Just ruffled my feathers. Yeah. Anyways, what else was I gonna mention? I spoke about all the goals. I spoke about the fight. I spoke about the defensive pairings, the rust that everybody had, the viewers, the players, the referees. Yeah, that's about it. The only other thing that I wanted to mention, just mostly from the four nations, I'm not going to talk about the four nations themselves, but I hope that Martin was watching what John Cooper did. I think John Cooper is pretty smart on the way he rolls the lines, on the way he forces lines to line pairings, even when he's the away team. And I hope Martin learns something from that. I know you can't really do exactly the same when you have so much disparity between your lines. Obviously, in the four nations, John Cooper had all four lines were amazing, right? Like, you have amazing players in each one of them. Martin doesn't have that luxury, but you could tell how good John Cooper was with the lines, and you hope Martin someday adopts some of that, you know. Anyways, I think that's all the comments I wanted to mention. Very fun game, like I said multiple times already. No cat today because of the win. It had been a while since we have no cat. Also, my cat hates when I woo after every goal. So after the half score, I go like, woo, let's fucking go, and blah, blah, blah. Very loud. I'm not going to do that right now, though. My cat just runs away because he doesn't like loud noises. So yeah, with 5 goals, you can see where the cat was nowhere to be seen. I hope we keep it up. We play Tuesday against Carolina in Montreal. As of the recording of this video, the skills competition in Montreal is going like at the moment. So hopefully we can see some highlights there. You know, just them having fun, shaking a little bit of the rust too there, and giving the fans some candy. Anyways, so that's about it. Don't forget to leave all your feedback, either the comments or give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, and see you after the Tuesday game. Go Habs, go!